Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. All right, so we got a pretty special episode for you today. Recently, Dick Allgire and I sat down, had a chat. We talked about a bunch of things cryptocurrency related, including XRP, his price prediction, and where he sees the crypto landscape moving into 2026. So without further ado, I'm going to play you guys the interview. Here it is.
We've been meaning to have this talk for quite a while. Derek from Working Money Channel, how you
We have
doing?
been. Good, good. How have you been? How have you been?
I I'm great. This is a good time for us to do this talk because today is Friday, October 3rd, and it is what is this 10 o'clock? It's 4 o'clock on the East Coast, 10 o'clock a.m. in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Bitcoin hit 123. It's like 122.5 right now. XRP is 304, I think.
Something like that. It's been going up and down over the last, we'll say 12 hours or so.
Red September is over and it's time for hot October, we
Thank
think.
goodness for that. I mean, I've been waiting for a long time for this. It's just been like we've been dragging and dragging and dragging. Now all of a sudden we're getting a bit of a pumptober, you know?
Yeah. I
So
think it's going to be good. We think it's going to be good. So you're kind of I hold quite a bit of XRP, but I'm not, I guess, what you would call an XRP maximalist. I also have Bitcoin, Ethereum,
sure,
Polygon, a few others,
sure.
Sui, but I've held XRP for years and years and years. I bought mine at like 30 cents, 27 cents.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's a great crypto. Obviously, I mean there's a huge community surrounding it, and it's got a lot of potential. Ripple is doing great things, but same with me, Dick. I mean, I talk about XRP on the channel a lot, but I do also hold some other coins, including Bitcoin, Solana, VeChain, Algorand, and a few others. So, yeah, I'm really excited to see what happens throughout the rest of the month, moving into the rest of quarter four. So we'll see.
Well, the one, the push that we're going to be making on our channel, which is ffgrv.com, futureforecastinggroup.com, but they're switching our servers. So it's both ffgrv.com and futureforecastinggroup.com. And while I plug that, yours is your channel,
Working Money Channel on YouTube.
Working Money Channel. Yeah, it's a great channel. What we're going to, the message that we're going to be pushing is don't be a victim. There are a lot of people that have doom and gloom, like, oh, the world, the financial system is in turmoil. It's going to be a crash. The New World Order is taking over. Digital currency is going to be a tracking mechanism for utter control. And our message is, hey, this is an opportunity to make your life really comfortable. This is going to be a huge transfer of wealth, and specifically to younger people like Gen Z, who are portrayed as having a sense of helplessness, like, oh, we're never going to get ahead in the world. We'll never afford a home. No, you're at the cusp of a lot of baby boomers are going to get crushed. A lot of their money is going to go into cryptocurrency. So it's a chance for younger generations. $3 for XRP is a deal. Get some of
Yeah,
it now.
yeah. I mean, I think for the long term, I think you're absolutely right. There's going to be a lot of opportunity in the space. There's a lot of new projects that are being created right now that a lot of people can start to think about in terms of, well, where's the value going to be? What tokens are going to be of value? Obviously, XRP is one of them. And what's that looking like for the future? And what coin should we be paying attention to? For the future of finance and not just finance, everything tokenization. As they say, everything's going to be tokenized, and I think that kind of ties into a little bit of the doom and gloom, right? Own nothing and you'll be happy.
Yeah.
And if everything's tokenized, then you won't own the gold bar anymore. It'll be tokenized on the blockchains. It's just as one example. Um, but yeah, I think you're right though. There is going to be a lot of opportunity as well.
Speaking of gold, I was just talking with our analyst, Marty Hibbs, 2 days ago, and gold hit all-time high, and he holds some gold. So he was going to try to cash in some of his gold, and it was very difficult. He went to the bank and said, "Hey, I've got this pile of gold. Can I take a loan out with the gold as collateral?" The bank said, "No, we don't do that. We're not interested in that." He tried to sell his gold to a local metals dealer in this would have been, I think, Toronto, and the metal dealer was going, "No, no, we're not buying any right now. If you have $1 million worth of gold and you go to sell it, you're going to have to go to Kitco or one of the main exchanges. You're going to have to ship it. You're going to have to pay uh, insurance, and they're not going to give you the spot price. They're going to give you like 20% less." My point is, if you've got $1 million worth of Bitcoin, you can go click, 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 sell it like
Yeah.
that. You're going to pay 3% to the 3.5 to the broker.
Yeah, there's always somebody looking to buy the crypto. I guess I'm curious, will that be the case moving forward? It's really exciting. It's an exciting space to be in right now because a lot of people are still kind of like, "Oh, what is this thing? How do we buy it? How do we sell it?" I still think there's a bit of a mystique surrounding cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
Um, and gold is it's been around for thousands of years. So, but I mean, it's interesting though that these exchanges would refuse to buy. So you're saying is they're only interested in buying when the time's appropriate for them, and if you have gold they're not willing to buy, or was it the quantity that they were not willing to take on?
Yeah, well, my personal experience was when COVID hit and I was trying to liquidate some silver. So there was one silver dealer listed in Honolulu. So I'm carrying, bags of silver to my car, and I go to his shop and I said, "Well, I got all this silver." And he goes, "Man, I don't need any more silver. I really," and he goes, "I recognize you because you were on TV." He goes, "I'll buy it and he gave me like way below spot price. So it's it's not as easy as you would think.
Hmm.
So I mean,
Interesting.
I just don't think okay, gold and silver have been valued as as money for like 4,000 years. That's the saying. Like, okay, gold has been money for 4,000 years, but it's not 4,000 years ago. This is 2025, and we're going to a digital economy. You want things that are happen lightning fast, and transferring pallets of gold and silver around. I mean, I'm not bad mouthing silver and gold. I have some,
No, no,
but
of course. I mean, I think it's a good hedge still. I mean, could be the
yeah,
quantity. I mean, I don't know. Like, I know somebody who travels across the border from Canada to the US every winter. And what he does is he'll take just a gold coin across the border, and that is his spending money for the winter. So, maybe to unload it slowly, um, you know, and then you have a few $1,000 to spend over, a few months. And for some people that might be an option. I guess he's been accumulating over a long period of time.
yeah.
uh, I don't know. I guess everybody's in it for different reasons. Uh,
Having had gold for oh man, I've had it. I'm old, so like since the 1990s. I look at it as a 1 ounce of gold would always buy you a ticket from Hawaii to Asia. Like if I was going from Honolulu to Bangkok and gold was 500 an ounce, a
yeah.
ticket was $500. And then the ticket raised to like $800 and gold was worth 800. And then the ticket went to 1200 and a ounce of gold was 1200. Now you can get a first class ticket for an ounce of gold, like
Interesting.
$4,000.
That's an
So
interesting. Yeah.
the price of the airline ticket didn't change. The value of the gold didn't change. Gold airline ticket, same value. The value of the dollar dropped.
Yeah.
So
That's an
it
interesting
takes more
correlation.
dollars.
That's an interesting correlation. What do you think? How do you think XRP is going to look in the coming years when it comes to it being utilized in a more kind of, I want to say, meaningful capacity? Because right now I feel like XRP is, it's kind of, everybody's anticipating for this thing to break out and for it to really kind of be adopted really fast. I know banks are kind of are going to be starting with it. There are already some companies around the world, financial institutions, is smaller companies that are using it. But we're all kind of waiting for this thing to blast off and to kind of be at scale. But and so, what do you think? How do you think that'll look, or how could
Okay.
it look? I mean, I don't know. I mean,
It,
we can even just theorize about it.
well, we need to get into the controversy over ISO 222 when we're talking about that. And there's two things that we need to talk about. Is XRP actually ISO 222 compliant? And we'll get to that. And the other thing would be, what is ISO, the International Standards Organization? I was reading a really interesting book about the title of the book was called The Box, and it was about containers. It was a really interesting book, an entire book about shipping containers and how they were uh, developed, designed, and adopted. So at the end of World War II, you had shipping companies would have boats, ships of various sizes, and they had stevedores, dock workers who would load pallets onto the boat. So a boat would come up and it would take like the better part of a week to load all the cargo on. And in the meantime, the organized crime could steal part of it. And it was just cumbersome they had to know how to pack all this stuff on. And then they'd unpack it and they'd put it on trucks and trains. And somebody came up with an idea. Hey, we need one container that's the same size worldwide, that all the cranes can adopt to that. All the trucks, you can put the box on the truck and put it intermodal on trains. And what came up with the dimensions of that was the ISO, the International Standards Organization. So the reason I'm telling this story is because those who knew that was coming, those who knew that the ISO was going to design this box, could go build ports in Incheon, Korea, in China, in Long Beach, wherever, Germany, with the same type of cranes, the same type of, and they could build container ships. This made billions and billions of dollars just for those who knew that the ISO was going to have that dimension of that box. So jump ahead to cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
The new financial system is going to run on the rails of ISO 222 compliant. It's the SWIFT system. When you send money bank to bank, was designed in 1973. It's outdated, it's old, and they're switching in November next month to ISO 222. So here's the question, Derek. Is XRP compliant, or is it just the Ripple network and XRP is part of that? Because are you up to date on that?
I mean, you know, I Ripple was one of the first companies to become ISO 20022 compliant. I remember when we first heard of ISO 20022. So I've been doing my channel since 2018. And I believe it was sometime in 2019 that I heard Ripple now ISO 20022 compliant. And I don't know if that was one of their products. It's evading me at the moment. I don't quite remember if it was one of their X Current or XV or X Rapid products. But I mean, because the XRP cryptocurrency runs on the network, it's almost kind of one and the same. I mean, if they're
Yeah.
ISO 20022 compliant, the coin that's going to be running on these networks is, I mean, it's going to be utilized in a more meaningful capacity than any other cryptocurrency, right? So yeah, I've been hearing some things too about from some other research that I've done where there's no such thing as an ISO 20022 compliant coin. However, I feel like I heard David Schwartz, CTO, former CTO now, because he just stepped down at Ripple, say that XRP is in fact a 20, or maybe he wasn't talking about XRP, but I think he was talking about coins specifically. Maybe he was. I'm just remembering bits and pieces. I mean, I do shows every day, and so it comes and goes, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes I have to refer back to my notes, but
Is
that he did say that there were coins that are ISO 20022 compatible.
My understanding is it's the network, and XRP is part of a network that
Yeah,
I've heard that credit card companies are already using XRP in the background.
yeah. Some have been. There have been murmurings of that. Well, we know Ripple and, sorry, Visa and MasterCard both have partnerships with Ripple, and so does American Express, if I'm not mistaken. Um, so, I mean, Visa bought Earthport back in 2019, 2020, and they are Ripple compatible. And I believe MasterCard just recently, I think within the last 2 years or so, just did some big partnership that included Ripple as well. So they're all kind of dabbling, I've noticed, and they're all kind of
Yeah.
trying to find what that is. I think for Ripple, it's not so much. Ripple realizes how, that a lot of these companies now, I mean, in the early days, not so much, but they're realizing these days a lot of these companies want to work with them because they are the cutting edge for DLT technology in this space. They do have the partnerships with the central banks. They do have, all the other partnerships with all these other smaller players. So, and the interconnectivity, I think, is also going to be what's really important. The interoperability with Ripple and Swift, or Ripple with whoever, right? So, yeah, it's all going to come together, and I think it's going to be cobbled together, but it'll all end up working, I think, on some kind of level.
Our view at Future Forecasting Group is that the world is administered by very powerful forces that have administered the world throughout history, that have contracts and covenants, and it's a well-run machine. And that, okay, how can I say this? They have been waiting for technology to advance to the point where they can tokenize everything, and that blockchain technology was put out into the world of developers, computer geeks, intelligent people, and just let them, okay, develop this, like sit back
Yeah.
and let it happen. So it's planned, but it seems organic. And that XRP is an important part of that. So I've heard some anti-XRP people say, well, it's the banker, with these evil bankers. It's like,
There's a lot of
well,
those people out there, though. That's a thing. They have an incentive to kind of make sure that XRP doesn't do well because whatever their coin is, or if they're a Bitcoin maximalist, let's say, that's the most popular kind of group that badmouths
yeah.
XRP. Uh, you know, if money goes into XRP, because I mean, quite frankly, if you're looking at the charts and you see, oh wow, look, XRP's gone up 800% since the beginning of 2025, and you're looking at Bitcoin, and oh well, Bitcoin's only gone up 125%. I'm just throwing numbers out
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
I don't know what the numbers are, but people will look at that and they'll be like, well, I would rather invest in the coin that's doing well, obviously. So they have an incentive to try to make it sound like, oh, this coin's a crap coin or whatever, right?
My view is that Bitcoin will not be the token, will not be the method of everyday transmission of
Yeah,
commerce.
I agree.
It's going to be a treasury asset. So there can only be 21 million of them, and that's going to be stored away, and most of the transactions at some point will become private. The world needs to run on a day-to-day basis. There's trillions of dollars that goes back and forth between banks. And I think XRP is going to be one of the main players in that. We see XRP going $7, I think, in this run. And that's conservative. And that comes from our analyst, Marty Hibbs, who I've been watching for 5.5 years now. And he's very, very accurate. So you comfortable with that? $7?
I could definitely see that. That's a conservative estimate. I think
Maybe
too.
$9.
I mean, it could go as high as, I mean, it could even go as high as 13, 14. It really does depend, I think, on a lot of other factors. A lot of people want to know my views on this. I do talk about it at my on my Patreon more.
Mhm.
But yeah, like, we've been waiting for so long. The SEC lawsuit was kind of dragging, and that had hindered XRP in the last bull run. We could have gone up to those prices probably in 2021 if
Yeah.
all things were set up for XRP to really kind of run out of the gate, without any hindrances. But this time around, it is different for XRP specifically, and in terms of those price targets, yeah, I think $7. I think that's doable. I think we do
Conservative,
have, yeah, I
conservative.
think it's doable. I think we have to see what Bitcoin does. I mean, Bitcoin's always the leader, right? So Bitcoin leads. We see how much
Yeah.
We also see the other factors, like what are the ETFs are they gonna help? Are we gonna see a run up before they're launched? Like, what's that gonna look like, right? So there's so many factors that are going to play into XRP price specifically, I think.
Um, okay, so $7 to $9 could be 13. That's this initial bull run.
Yeah.
That's not looking out a few years.
No, no, no.
Uh, I'd like to see $90 Ripple, $100 Ripple, and beyond.
Yes. Yes,
That,
100%. 100%. I'd love to see that kind of a
but
thing.
but
Yeah, go ahead.
we're not, and I don't think you do this either. Like there are a lot of my wife watches a lot of Korean YouTubers, crypto YouTubers, and she'll be on her iPad. She'll go, look, XRP is going to go to $10,000, or look, XRP is going to be higher than Bitcoin. I go, no, 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 settle down,
You
settle down.
really have to, this is the thing with these price predictions. I talk about people's opinions about these price predictions on my channel. I'm never one to come out there and say XRP is definitely going to
Yeah,
$10,000,
yeah,
But I do like to think about why people are saying this. Like, is the reasoning makes sense? And even if it's for like the long term, it's okay to think this way, but
yeah.
it's got to make sense in some way, shape, or form. If it's a projection for the next 10, 15, 20 years, even, I don't know, right? Um,
Well, yeah, I know a guy that we have a little crypto club that gets together every couple months and we talk about things. There's a guy I know that bought Ethereum at 37 cents.
wow.
So there was a day when you were paying 37 cents for Ethereum and someone was saying, this could go to like $4,000. And you'd
Yeah.
go, wow, that's over there. That's pie in the sky over the horizon. But it did. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I know, and it's been surprising. Like a lot of coins have been really surprising. I'm actually quite surprised on how well Dogecoin has done, considering there's no real reason why it's
it,
doing. It
It
doesn't have
it
any
was a
utility.
joke, and now it's not a
Exactly,
joke. Well, do you want to
exactly.
know what Dogecoin, why it went up so high? This is the information I'm getting, is that it was a money laundering thing.
Oh, I
Is
never
that
heard this theory. Tell me more.
okay? Well, if you have a lot of money that you made, like maybe in Bitcoin or maybe even illicitly, you can you and your criminal buddies dump it into a a meme coin, drive that thing up, take your money out, and that's a way to launder money.
Interesting. And it was created for that even. So, people were probably making a lot of money off Bitcoin and some other cryptos, or I mean, yeah, who knows, maybe even illicitly, and to be able to kind of spread it around and make sure nobody's paying attention,
Yeah. That brings us
using it
that
as
brings
another
us to the
mechanism.
idea of compliance. And I've got bad
Mm.
news. Bad news for people.
Uh-oh. What?
You got to report your cryptos. I know
Yeah.
some people that, well, we've heard of people that thought, well, Bitcoin it's outside of the banking system. It's private. It's peer-to-peer. I'm just going to use that and I won't report it. It's 2026 is the time when the exchanges and even the brokers are going to have to account for, they're going to make you say where you got your cryptos, where that money came from. I heard of
Mhm.
one guy that had a broker that he thought was private in another country and was trying to wire crypto earnings to a bank. And the bank said, where'd all this money come from? He goes, cryptocurrency. And the bank said, well, we're going to need you to report where you got that and where the money came from. So there are new compliance laws. You know what I just did, Derek? And this was, God, we have an accountant that works with us, and I want to be clean because I'm in the public eye.
Sure.
So he said, okay, we're gonna count for all your crypto assets. And I'd been buying stuff since 2018, and I had 15 wallets and
Yeah.
all over the place. I didn't want to put it in one place. I thought
Yeah.
if one fails or one gets hacked. So I've got wallets over the place. He said, okay, make a spreadsheet and make put every address of all your cryptos in the spreadsheet and give it to me, and we give it to a guy who'll track it all. And I was like, I don't know if I want to do that.
Yeah, right.
And I'm going, do I? He goes, you want to do that so that you can be compliant. And I go, okay. And so I go, this is going to take me days. And my wife and I got out our wallets and we're like copying addresses, put them, it took me 2 days, put it in an Excel spreadsheet, gave it to our accountant. He went to a guy that there are specialists that can track all this. I've now got all my cryptos accounted for so that if the IRS or any auditing agency came to me, I can, there it is. It's all right there. But you're going to want to have to do that because it's all on a ledger.
Yeah.
It's all available. You
You,
can't hide it. They're going to make you whitelist your wallet.
yeah. You might want to get an affiliate link for that service because I'm sure a lot of people watching this video right now might want to use that service. Um,
Yeah, it's called numeratus.us. You can find it at Future Forecasting Group, ffgrv.com. How do people get your Patreon, by the way, when I put
uh,
this?
basically, you just go to patreon.com/working money channel. It's where I go into detail regarding the crypto market and just my feelings regarding this particular cycle, because now this has been the third cycle I've been in.
Hmm.
And you learn a little bit more every single time. So I'm pretty much just being transparent. I'm being open with what I'm doing and where my targets are going to be and where I'm buying, where I'm selling, and all the coins I have, all that stuff, and other investments too that I have. Just kind of talking to people one on one. They can ask me questions directly in my DMs. I do hold live events once a month, so it's a bit of a bit of everything, more than the actual than the YouTube channel is alone, which is more news and you know you've seen the channel, so you know what that
Yeah.
is.
YouTube is good fun.
I love YouTube.
It's if I go a few days without doing a YouTube, God, I need to do a YouTube. And there's some days, like right now, I've got like 3 topics to do. And it's like, okay, I've got topics for my next 4 days. And then some weeks I get up and go, God, do I have anything to say?
Yeah. I
But
mean, sometimes, I mean, yeah, I know it feels like sometimes there's more than other days, but I think the community is so enthusiastic. They want to know about everything crypto, whether it's XRP related or whether it's, even just like what you're talking about. That service sounds super interesting, where you can figure out where all your crypto has been so that you can keep it in a spreadsheet for the tax man later down the road.
what you don't want to do is take a bunch of money out. There were people that thought they were going to be really clever, and there were people advising this on the internet, doing what they called a personal private management organization or a personal management organization. You make a trust or an LLC, and then you just don't report that. You can put your
Oh,
crypto that it and that worked in the past. Like you could get away with that, but that is not going to be possible.
interesting. I did a video today discussing one gentleman's opinion about that. And I think he was suggesting that one, create an LLC and, keep your crypto. I don't know if he said not to report anything. I wasn't quite sure I'm not quite sure on the details, but it's interesting you mentioned that because I was just talking about LLCs
Well,
today.
they would
And then
say
somebody,
things, yeah,
yeah,
they would say things like, well, if the IRS thinks you owe them money, they'll let you know. Uh,
don't know
okay.
about that.
Well, I'm telling you that 2026 is going to be the year of compliance where you're not going to get away with it's like what I do is I don't trade. I don't trade and I do long-term capital gains. So I put money in 2018, 2019, 2020. When I take it now, I pay long-term capital gains.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah, that's the
and
same with me. A lot of my strategy has been based on that. I would like to do some more swing trading in the future, maybe for this next cycle. So for the Patreon subscribers, I think we're going to approach this next cycle a little differently once this cycle's done, and we're going to take a look at cycle trends and impulsive moves, and we're gonna do a little bit more trading. We want to beef up that portfolio a little bit more. So, uh, yeah, I mean, I guess there's different approaches, but I was taking the same approach as you these past 6-7 years.
So people want to hear where's it going? Where's it going? We think Bitcoin is going to, before Christmas, hit 140 to 150. When Bitcoin hits 140 to 150, a lot of that money will come out, go into alts, and that's when our XRP will go 7 to 9. And it may all outperform that. So we think the bull run was delayed a little bit, like September was down, but it was consolidating. So that means the run is going to last a little longer, may have a huge pump, drop back down in end of January, and then pump again February and March.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you in terms of the first part of that. I don't know what 2026 is looking like yet. I still think there
It's
are
too far
more
out
factors.
it's too far out to say with any confidence.
Yeah. I like I like how you're thinking about Bitcoin. I like the price targets. I like the timeline. I'm in agreement with all that. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. For more information on where I think the market's going to go, follow me at patreon.com/workingmoneychannel. That's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.